What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Hopefully you had a good weekend overall. Had a good time here. Did, of course, the Spawncast, the Saturday show, and then yesterday took a look at a Switch weakness that appears to be going away going into 2019, which could see more and more third-party support as we go forward since they kind of got rid of that issue. At least it seems for now. Today, we're going to talk a bit about GameStop as they keep disappointing, we'll say that, and now it's with Kingdom Hearts 3, and that's not really a fan base you want to mess with much, and we'll take a look at what happened there, and I'll kind of give you an idea of maybe why it happened, as it seems to have to do with their incompetence when it comes to ordering and taking pre-orders, which you figured they'd be really good at by now, but we'll get into that. And then we also saw a new Dragon Ball Z game announced, and I kind of wanted to go over that as well because it reminds me of another game, but one that was on the Game Boy Advance. As always, guys, enjoy these videos, do hit the like button, it does help out. We're going to start today with the Xbox One, as we kind of have a better idea as to where it sits now with its total units sold. Now, if you remember, Microsoft doesn't really tell us, at least they used to, and then they realized they were falling so far behind the PlayStation 4 that they just would stop saying anything about units, and they decided to do things like live active users and just overall revenue and everything except for hardline numbers of how many they've sold. Well, we at least have a better understanding now after Daniel Ahmed actually shared that it's about 41 million Xbox One systems that have sold. So we kind of have an idea now. Now, of course, Daniel Ahmed is an analyst over at Nico, and he would have access to all the numbers and everything. So he's essentially telling us, yes, 41 million Xbox systems have sold. And now I'm getting at least an understanding as to why Microsoft doesn't want to say anything about numbers. It's because they're about to be in third place, basically. They're about to be in last place. Nintendo's going to announce some serious numbers here in this week, Wednesday or Thursday. And, of course, 41 million Xbox Ones is... The PlayStation 4 is more than double the Xbox One at this point. I don't know if it'll triple it. It's always possible. You never know. It depends on how much further the Xbox One falls off. But the Switch is... it's going to pass it this year, and I get why Microsoft is staying away from those hard numbers because it doesn't look great from that perspective. Again, if I was Microsoft, I would want the next generation to start yesterday, but it seems like it's Sony who's maybe pushing to the next gens first. We'll see. Interesting stuff, though, and it's going to lead into E3, which leads into our next bit of quick news, which is Phil Spencer talking a bit about E3, because we kind of figured, oh, maybe since Sony is taking it easy this year and kind of staying home from E3 with Nintendo and Microsoft going there, maybe Microsoft just kind of plays it safe, nothing crazy, nothing insane. It sounds like Phil Spencer has other plans. This is going to be a fun E3 for us. We had a discussion internally. Should we go big? Should we save some money? No, we're going to do our thing, and we're going to go and be as big at E3 as we've ever been. And I love that opportunity to be with our fans and the industry. We're still going through some of the discussions on how much long-term and how much near-term games do we talk about. I'm a proponent for being as transparent as can be. I feel really good about our plans. The content that we'll have will be greater, and we'll talk about our future. We'll talk more about what the Xbox brand means to us. We have millions of Xbox customers. We see them on a phone or another device. We want to make that possible. Yes, it sounds like they're going to show up there and they're going to show off some games, maybe hardware, and that's the big question mark a lot of people have. Will the Xbox Scarlet be there? Whatever that family of devices is, will the Beast, we assume it's codenamed Anaconda at this point, will those next-gen systems be there? And what games? I mean, do any of these studios have something to show? Because the rumors right now seem to be kicking around that Ninja Theory might actually have something to show at E3. Maybe it's interesting stuff to hear about. Battletoads is still out there, of course. We assume that there'll be another Forza game to show off, maybe Halo Infinite. But if they're going to go big, they should actually show up with some stuff that will really blow us away. And by that, I mean stuff outside of their comfort zone. And by that, I mean new IPs. Things that are different from their Halo and their Gears of War and their Forza games. And that's what I hope to see, but at least Phil Spencer has the right thinking here to just show up and actually try to be ridiculous and have a bunch of stuff, even if Sony, their main competition essentially with, powerful systems, is not there. And if you had a chance to try out Anthem over the weekend, you probably realized that there were a lot of issues. Yeah, and this was dubbed the VIP demo. What it should have been called is the paid closed beta demo, because that's what it was. It was a closed beta, and you needed to go pre-order the game to get into this one. They'll have the open beta, quote unquote, next weekend, starting on the February 1st. So if you did not pre-order it, you can try it then. To everyone who paid to try the closed beta, thanks for bug checking it for everyone else, I guess. But this is something that companies do a lot. In fact, they got to a point where they actually had to post up an entire blog post, as you're seeing here, showing all different types of things that were happening, whether there's infinite loads or just straight up platform connections. So they had to go through all type of errors and even trying to help you fix them. But outside of the connection issues, people really seem to like Anthem. So I at least like that BioWare has something here that could actually be good, because I don't want BioWare to go away, and I know how EA is. If you fail too much, they just cut you. So I hope that doesn't happen. At least so far, Anthem looks good, but these the companies need to stop saying, oh, it's a VIP demo, when it's just a closed beta that you got to give us $5 at your local GameStop to get into. And with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. We're going to start with Kingdom Hearts 3. It's out tomorrow. People are very excited because, let's face it, some people have been waiting forever, right? If you're like me, you played Kingdom Hearts 2 back when you were in high school, and now here you are several years later, ready to try out the next numbered Kingdom Hearts game. Of course, there have been a number of other games in the Kingdom Hearts series, but of course, some people are probably coming back to it after playing 2 from forever ago, or maybe they picked up the HD collection, they played 1, 2, and now they're ready to get into 3. Who cares about the story, I guess, but of course, you can also look it up online and kind of get caught up that way. But when you order something, specifically pre-order it, and you put money on it, you kind of expect it to be there day one, especially if you planned well in advance, to get it, because limited edition systems are something that a lot of people pre-order, because unlike a game, it's a very real possibility that a limited edition system will not be available after launch. Those generally have limited supply. Games are all over the place. You can get games pretty easily, and if you can't get it in a store, most people will just download it digitally. That's just the way it is. But a limited edition Kingdom Hearts 3 system, that looked really cool. It was a PS4 Pro, and it was exclusive to GameStop, which makes you think, and me as well, that they would have actually had everything in line to make this a smooth process, and they didn't. It was reported by several people on Reddit, on Twitter, everywhere you can yell about it. GameStop was canceling pre-orders, and in its place, they were offering a $25 credit to get something else, I guess. I guess you can take $25 off of your Kingdom Hearts 3 pre-order for the game, but not the system. This is an issue with GameStop heavily. They've done this before. This isn't the first time. I get it. It's Kingdom Hearts 3. It's very, very big for a lot of people, and that's not a fandom you want to mess with, because they will be very loud about you making these kind of mistakes. GameStop has done this in the past. Other stores have done this in the past, and a lot of this comes down to, and I've seen it myself, when we would order stuff, whether it was a limited edition system or even limited edition versions of the games, you had to get these things in about 2 months in advance. They needed our pre-order numbers. Like, if a game was coming out in October, I needed to have that in at the beginning of August. So I had to kind of guess, okay, how many more pre-orders am I going to get over the next 2 months? So yeah, you guess, and GameStop guessed, more than likely, and they were wrong. They were the only spot to get this, and they probably should have guessed higher. It could have also been that Square or Sony, their collaboration, Disney, who knows, didn't provide enough systems, but I have a feeling GameStop could have cut pre-orders if they knew that there weren't going to be enough systems. This sounds to me like GameStop pushing pre-orders would rather take the chance and then just cancel it later, making their customers not happy. It's not a good look. $25 credit is pretty much a joke for what this probably represented to a lot of people, and especially if you had paid it off and you thought you were good. I'm like, I don't have to go to a scalper, because let's be real, some people that get this system from GameStop are probably just going to flip it on eBay, and then maybe somebody who originally had it will have to go out and pay significant amounts of money to get one of these things. It's GameStop not doing their job right. It really is. It comes down to the retailer, and it's a shame to see. I don't really know what else they could do at this point other than give you a credit. Maybe they should just give you a free game. I don't know. $25 doesn't seem like a lot, but of course, it wouldn't have been a big deal if it wasn't just a GameStop. It was a GameStop exclusive, so you can't go anywhere else. Like Best Buy, maybe they would have had some, right? Maybe, I don't know, maybe Walmart. Who knows? There are probably other game stores you could go to. But yes, this is GameStop just being incompetent. Kotaku actually managed to reach out to them, and they did reply saying that we just oversold this thing. And again, I would have to guess back then, and I would have been extremely conservative about it, and I would have cut the pre-orders immediately after I would actually keep a tally in the back on on a corkboard, and I would tally and be like, okay, how many of these do I have? And yeah, that's when I would actually use paper and pen to track this stuff, not in the computer. And it's just them not doing it right. They have thousands of stores, and it's all about that pre-order at the register, we'll worry about it later mentality. Next up, let's talk about an interesting listing that matches up pretty well with a lot of things that we've seen for the Switch, and that is an Assassin's Creed 3/Liberation compilation that appears to be listed for the Switch. They had full box art and everything, as you're seeing a listing here. This originally showed up on the Nintendo Switch Reddit, and it was actually from a shop that decided to post it, I guess, early when they shouldn't have, and they have it dated at February 15th, and it is the Assassin's Creed 3 and Liberation collection. You may be wondering, why Assassin's Creed 3 and why Liberation Remastered? Well, that's because it's also going to the other systems as part of a weird season pass thing for Odyssey. For some reason, the pass includes Assassin's Creed 3, which in turn includes Liberation for the PS4 and the Xbox One. Now, of course, some people just want Assassin's Creed in general on their Switch. I would have preferred to see Black Flag, if anything, if they couldn't do Odyssey or just because of time or development has changed and everything. This was something that's coming over to the PS4 and the Xbox One, so most likely, as they shifted that development for that, they probably just threw the Switch version in and said, we'll make it for the Switch and we'll sell it for what they have here at about $35, maybe $40. And that's a way to get Assassin's Creed on there. Some people did like 3 a lot. I was, again, more partial to Black Flag, but maybe they'll do another compilation. We saw a compilation listed months ago, actually, on a German website, and it seemed pretty straightforward there. Older Assassin's Creed games, bring it over to the Switch, and it'll probably work. Now, of course, Assassin's Creed 3, that one was on the Wii U, so it's been on a lot of systems, but this appears to be the remaster that'll probably be similar effects as to what's on the PS4 and the Xbox One, which is, they'll probably do some changes. The resolution will probably be different from the 360 and the PS3 version, probably some extra effects. But yeah, at least from what we're seeing here, now when would they announce it? This could honestly just be like a straight up drop on Twitter, a press release that's sent out. It could be part of a direct, but this says February 15th, and if we're going by that date, that means it would have to have been announced, and then 2 weeks later it comes out. I believe it's supposed to come out in March on the other systems, the PS4 and the Xbox One at least, so maybe that's the actual date. Sometimes retailers will just throw a date into their database so they can fill it, but we'll see. Either way, it looks like there is a lot of hinting around an Assassin's Creed game of some kind, possibly 3 and Liberation here. So, hey, you can at least have some kind of Assassin's Creed game on the go with you on the Switch. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about Dragon Ball, because we had a couple of announcements yesterday. They had their full fighting tournament that they held, Bandai Namco did, and it was all Dragon Ball Fighter stuff. It was pretty cool to see, because when pros play that game, it is actually pretty fun to watch. And they decided to also tell us about 2 announcements for the Dragon Ball series, both of which being games, well, one of which being DLC for a game, which was Dragon Ball FighterZ. They actually introduced the Season 2 for DLC, and they got it started pretty well, I would say. They jumped in with Jiren. So Jiren will be showing up. This is happening January 31st, along with Videl. So we have both Jiren and Videl showing up January 31st as part of the second season pass. I know, a second season pass. Fighting games tend to do this a lot, but what can you do? And there's also 4 other characters that they have as blank spots. Now, they did tease 2 different characters, both Broly and Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Gogeta, as they have their SSGSS, and those appear to be coming at some point, although it's still undetermined as to when. But then that also leaves 2 other character slots that are kind of a mystery now as well. It is cool to see some of the movie characters get thrown in there, because of course those are fairly recognizable now with the movie going on and actually doing pretty well in the box office, which is cool to see. Dragon Ball is still very popular. I'm very happy about that, especially since it's able to pull crowds into the theater. And we did get an announcement for a new game, and it is that action RPG, I guess. They showed a trailer. It was pretty brief. They showed visuals that looked okay. It wasn't mind-blowing, but it looked good enough, I think. And it was an action RPG done by CyberConnect 2. And of course, they've done some games for the Naruto series, and they've done some games for the Dot Hack series. So I'm I'm pretty happy to see them take a shot at this, and it looks like it's going to mostly be going through the beginnings of the Z Saga. So from when you saw Goku and Piccolo fighting at the end of Dragon Ball, leading in Dragon Ball Z, and then I assume Raditz will land, and then it goes through Vegeta and Nappa, and then Frieza. But it kind of reminds me of Legacy of Goku on the Game Boy Advance. They did this very thing, and they filled it out with all kinds of stuff that took place between them, kind of taking advantage of a lot of the kind of just the holes in the plot that the anime just left out there, even the manga, where Goku was on Snake Way forever, but they only showed it so many episodes. Things like that, where they could kind of lengthen the game by adding on all these original events. I think that's what they'll do here as well. They also had another game on the DS, it was Dragon Ball, Attack of the Saiyans, and that had a lot of events that we never saw before. So while a lot of us are looking at this and saying, I've played through the Dragon Ball Z saga so many times, they might have, and this is why you want to check this out, they might have things that take place that we've never played before that they make up as original segments for this game. I don't know if that is going to be the case, but I don't know how they would get a full, fledged game out of what wouldn't be too long. So if I get a better Legacy of Goku, I will be very happy. And of course, that also means, because it's called Project Z, that there could be several other games kind of after that, and then we could eventually get to that Dragon Ball Super saga, like a lot of people would like to see. But let me know what you guys think about the unveiling for Project Z. It appears to be slated for PS4, Xbox One, and PC at this time. Nothing about Switch, which is odd because Bandai seemed to apologize to investors and say, we're going to get on this Switch hype train here, and this doesn't, at least at this point, appear to be announced for the Switch. Could change later on. Probably will change later on, as they seem to keep porting stuff later to the Switch, but we'll see. Let me know what you guys think about this one down below. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it's the Xbox One at 41 million. It looks like they have fallen well behind the PlayStation 4. PlayStation 4 more than doubling, and we're going to see a number from the Switch that's going to surprise some people this week, and it's not going to be too much longer until the Switch also passes it. So what does Microsoft need to do going into next generation to fix that? Let me know, guys, down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.